Hey y'all, coming to you from the headquarters of ScottieDTV, but I was at the 2018 Detroit Autorama and I shot a 67 Camaro I think you're all gonna like. Ended up winning a grade 8, very cool car. Come on, let's take a quick look at it.
Dink, you rocked one, buddy.
I tried big time, man. I worked hard on this one.
You took a big swing, and man, I think you got this one out of the park.
Well, we had a vision, and it came together. It was a lot of work, but we're here in Detroit, and we're loving it. The car's showing well, and it's been a big team effort with myself and Greg Allen and Chris Allen, a father and son team out of Shelbyville, Delaware. And they gave me the opportunity to go out of the box with a Camaro. That was Chris's dream, and I think we nailed it.
Oh, I think you did too. Tell me some of the things you've done.
Well, we started with a Dakota Correct 67 Camaro SS, and the cars took several directions in the build, and we ended up finally going to this level of a Detroit build. And that being said, we halfway through the project backed up, started over, and I told them what I felt we needed to do, and they listened, and I came up with a lot of ideas. They had a lot of ideas. We kept back and going forth with the ideas that we came up with. I would mention something and they would add to it, and I would add back to it. So it was a team effort. We did good working together. It was a big success, I think. The body, you know, one of my trademarks for doing cars is, as you know, I don't like square corners on nothing. So that being said, all the trim on the car, the windshield trim front and back has all been radiused. The hood's been radiused. The trunk lid's been radiused at all 4 points. The bumpers have been radiused. The rear quarters on the spoiler's been radiused. We moved the rear quarter panel back from center back 1.5 inches. All the suspension independence been narrowed 4 inches. The suspension, one of the neat things about the suspension housing of the car, of the whole assembly, is it's integrated into the body. 4 bolts and the whole suspension's down on the ground. So that took some doing, but it came out. The car's belly panned, all one piece underneath. The K member is a Heights Pro G, same as the Heights Pro G rear suspension independent. The K member's all been molded, rounded, smooth, and the K member recesses up into the body of the car. That being said, the way the belly pan wraps around the K member rails, when you look underneath the car is all at a 4-inch level plane. Exhaust is up inside the car. No brake lines, fuel lines, nothing's underneath the car. It's very sanitary. The inner fender wells, we kept the stock 67 Camaro inner fender wells, molded them to the outer fenders, rounded them, smoothed them, did a lot of metal work, but yet kept the OEM shape to an extent. The firewall and the wiper cowl has all been remodified, re-engineered to accommodate the rear corners on the hood. And one of the big things on the engine compartment with the blower, the whole motor has been re-engineered. It's a one-off motor built set up on it.
What kind is it?
Actually it's a 96 LT1 block, 355 cubic inch, with a one-off Magnuson charger with again a one-off intake to accommodate a new style blower to an old school block. In order to do that, we had an aluminum intake casted to accommodate a new style blower, and we modified the blower housing and drove it off the crank, turned the blower around and pulling air through the firewall, through the inner fender wells, and through the nose of the car. So the firewall, to get the air to the motor, was a big challenge with a lot of engineering and thinking in it, due to the fact the firewall cavity was turned into an air plenum box. We got 2 air vents, air tubes supplying air to the air plenum box, 3-inch CFM on each side to feed the 95mm throttle body on the Magnuson blower. So it really sucks a lot of air, and we had to make sure that we could supply enough air to it at idle.
And you did all of that just so you wouldn't use an LS in it?
all that just so I was determined. And the first thing Chris said when he brought the car to us, he said, I don't want an LS motor in it. And I just about kissed him because I said, thank God. Nothing against the LS guys, but you know, the whole car,
It's cool to see something different. I agree.
it's trying to be different, but
Right.
you know, we tried to do a complete different build on a Camaro. It's not a pro touring car, it ain't a G machine, it's not a autocross car. We wanted to bring street rod, art deco, elegance.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
you did it again.
Thank you.
Absolutely out of the park.
Oh, I appreciate it. That thing is it was a nightmare, but there's a lot of work. It looks good. I think it turned out pretty sharp.
Now, when I first saw the car a few weeks back, I thought, man, this car is awesome. And you know, I mean, I knew you could do it, but it's like you're going to have to really work hard to keep up with the outside. But
Yeah, step it up, huh?
no, you absolutely nailed it, man. I love the door panels. I love the fact that there's only like 2 colors in there, but there looks like there's, because of the angles and the shading, maybe because of the way it's sitting, it just, you know,
Yeah.
just pops, man.
Yeah, we use a 2-tone color. Actually, Greg and his dad, or Greg and Chris picked it out, the colors, and I was like, yeah, that'll look cool with the car, and it really does. It looks sharp, and it's different. It's not just your normal everyday, you know, something crazy color, but it fits the car really nice. And then we made a custom console to go to the front, all the way to the back, and all the big chrome that you see is actually all hand sanded plastic, and then fiberglassed over, and then chrome plated.
All
So I mean,
handmade.
every piece of it, except for the shifter itself, of course.
Right.
But we made all of the cup holders. They give us a rendering, something about what they wanted, and we was like, okay, let's figure out how to do it now.
Right, right.
So we did it.
And usually you'd go to like a Clayton machine or something, but this time you just made it yourself.
Sandpaper and whittle. Tim done a heck of a job on making all that stuff. He with a razor knife and some sandpaper and a lot of hours, handcrafted every bit of that. And in the middle of it's got a square stock metal that we had chrome plated in the console and in the armrest and the doors.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I like how you inlaid that in too. That kind of goes with the theme of how they
Exactly.
inlaid the trip rail.
yeah, and that wasn't an easy thing. Getting all that stuff inlaid with the console and the door panels, armrest, and the floor. If you notice, the floor's even got the inlaid chrome in that.
Wow.
That was Eddie's idea. He said, "Can you do it?" And I said, "If we got enough time, we can do it."
Time and money's all it takes.
Yeah, that's it.
Now I love how they left the old style pull levers too up there on the dash. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. And the and then of course modern gauges.
Yeah,
but,
modern
yeah.
gauges and a steering wheel and everything, chrome plated. You know, the gas pedal, brake pedal, and everything. Which, of course, if you're going to compete for this at this level, you got to have it.
For sure. And what happens there in the center? You push a button and it comes down or something?
Oh
Where it
yeah,
says
check
SS?
it. Yeah. You pull the SS and the heater gauges and everything's in behind that.
Oh, no kidding.
So yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. See?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's all
yeah.
hinged up,
Yeah.
and then it's magnetized. It raises
Oh,
back
wow.
up the magnet.
Very cool.
And then we did a 2-tone headliner also that matches the interior.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of work. I mean, if you notice, the seats look like they're just, you know, I mean, you don't see no bolts or anything. We hit all the bolts with a floor that actually raises up. You bolt the seats in it and then put the floor in after the seats are done.
Over the top of them.
Yeah,
And I like what
exactly.
you did to the back of the seats too. I like that stainless or whatever that is.
Yeah, that's all
polished panel back
factory
there.
like that. 64 Thunderbird, 65 Thunderbird, I think had that.
Okay.
But it was all taken apart, chrome plated, and
It works in this Camaro?
yeah. Then we put a slide door in there, and it's just got his iPad hookup or whatever you want to
Right.
radio, and then his switches for his LED lights.
Cool. No. Absolutely nailed it.
And then Steve Tracy chrome plated our speaker grills and stuff for us. It's a perfed metal with that we sent off and had them chrome plated.
Oh yeah, that's not just standard finish from
No.
from Walmart. Right?
No.
I like what you did back here too. I like them little pouches.
Oh, thank you. This is pretty just clean and neat and finished up nice. You know, didn't have a lot of time for sending off to have chrome plated and things like that.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's what it needed. I mean, it's very clean.
it is clean, yeah.
It's the car, right?
You don't. Sometimes you go over the top and it just, you know, it'll start to look gaudy and stuff. So
You
we
gotta
try
know
to
when
keep
to separate.
everything clean. Yeah.
You failed to mention my favorite feature of the car,
Which is
the drip rails.
One of the main challenges on the car was once we, the car kept talking to me. And when I say that, when you build a car and you can lay it on paper, you can design it on paper, but as you're building it, it don't matter how you design it, how you draw it, how many renderings you do. When you start building the cars, they'll start telling you, talking to you and what you want. So that being said, the whole theme of the car was all the trim on the car was supposed to be recessed. And we started with the rear window and the front windshield. I took stock 67 rear window trim, bought 4 sets of NOS window trim, cut up all the corners, and that's how all the glass got radiused on the car. So looking at the car, I've got stock stainless steel moldings, but they're all handmade and nickel plated. Well, then I shaved the drip rails. Well, once I shaved the drip rails and started looking at all the angles on the car, I'm like, man, it'd be nice if we had the drip rails flush into the roof line. Well, I didn't realize how much of a pain in the behind that was going to be, but it worked out. Well, then when we did the hood, the hood's been stretched 2 inches overall. The center of the hood has been stretched 13 inches in the center, and the cow's been shortened 2 inches. So the theme of the hood ports were based off of somewhat of a 68 ice tray scoop or a hood port of the 68 Camaro. And we lengthened them to 26 inches. And we said they got to be flush mounted. So it was one thing, to keep the whole theme of the car, it was just one thing after another.
Right.
And then all the valance, the air breather tray that's under the hood is actually access panel to get to the cone filters behind the grille to service them, replace them, clean them, whatnot. And the hood latch system is all countersunk into the bodywork, flush mounted. The rear tail lights is all custom one-off CNC, flush mounted. The rear of the car, I jacked the center of the car out 3/4 of an inch, dead center of the tail panel, to put a bow in the car. And I also, if you look at the rear of the car, the rear spoiler's bowed, the center of the panel, tail panel's bowed, and the bumper's bowed. So, and the belly pan wrap, the whole rear of the car is bowed, all the way down to the rear of it. And then, like I said, on the belly pans, if you look at your front fender, the front fender is seamed right at the door and rocker panel, to where the fender does not wrap underneath the car like on a stock Camaro.
Right.
And then the belly pans tie into the inner fender wells and into the rear inner fender wells on the rear quarter. And then the belly pan comes up underneath the bumper, which ties into the front of the inner fender well.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, the metal work on it. There's.
How long did it take you to build it, Ed?
I had the car in the shop 6.5 years.
But that was really down the road, one step ahead, two steps back for a little while.
Oh, yeah. The car, we wanted a nice good guys car to compete at good guys, get some nice awards. And then Chris came to Detroit a couple of times because he wasn't sure on the color. He wasn't sure on the colors of anything. Right. These guys, this is all new to them. And I said, you guys got to go to Detroit. Well, then we came back. The whole project changed. And then he came to Detroit again last year, which we tried to be here last year and we didn't make it. And he came back and he said, are you sure we got everything we need? So we actually, after I having a car here, debuted it last year at Detroit. We came back and looked at this car as it was going together. We even stepped back further and said, man, are we missing anything? So we stepped back, looked at it again. And I said, look, I told him, I said, Chris, this is a one-shot deal. I said, a year will go by in a blink of an eye. And we stepped back and just did our homework again and sat down and really reviewed the whole project, and here we are.
Dude, you nailed it. If people are wanting to get in touch with you, follow your build, stuff like that, what's the best way to do that?
Superior Auto Works, bydink.com.
Right.
Or you can contact me on Facebook, Superior Auto Works by Dink, or give us a shout. We're out of Delaware, and looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Keep building cool, brother.
Thank you, man.
So there you go, from the 2018 Detroit Autorama, a 1967 Camaro Nickleback by Superior Auto Works by Dink. Check them out, facebook.com, anywhere you can. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. See ya! Hey y'all, make sure you subscribe to this channel and visit ScottieDTV.com for an easy way to search the hundreds of videos I have posted. Either click the link in the description or the one at the end of this video.